Georgia is also where we find former Democratic City Council member Carlos Menchaca, who has traveled to the suburbs just north of Atlanta to knock on doors and reach last-minute voters. Carlos Menchaca joins us now from Georgia to talk more about his efforts. Welcome back to the program. Great to see you.
Good to be here. And Georgia, I got to say, has got some great weather.
No doubt, no doubt. What made you decide to work down there? What's the idea there?
Well, as a second-generation immigrant elected official, I got to meet all of my counterparts across the country. Representative Sam Park, who is a House representative in Gwinnett County, is one of my good friends. And so when I reached out to folks and I said, where do you need me most? His case was the best. We're in Gwinnett County, where you're going to see a lot more voters come out. You have a diverse group of suburban voters out here. And if they just get that touch, I think that's what we're going to see all the way until today, in Election Day.
Okay, so now all of this is about strategy. What types of voters are they steering you towards? Who are they targeting in Georgia? And what are they telling you when you reach out to them?
So I'm part of a mobilization on low propensity voting. Sam Park won his race with 400 votes back in 2016. Trump won that year. So people are ready to keep winning in that way. This is a diverse group of people who are AAPI community members, Latinos, Black Americans, who are maybe voted once in the last 6 years. And if they just get a little bit of touch, and that's what we're seeing at the door, where we're making the case for their voice. We tell them the stories of Gwinnett County and other Asian Americans that have ran and won in the last 6 years now. So that's the case that we're making at the doors.
Donald Trump is looking for so-called low propensity voters as well, especially young men of color. Did you see any sort of competition going on there for the folks that you were talking to?
You know, the folks on the ground, the canvassers on the ground, are all Democratic canvassers. So I did not see any new organizers on the ground for Donald Trump. I think he was here in Gwinnett County at a rally. So it's a lot of visibility for him, Errol, not a lot of ground troops.
Oh, right. We've seen a lot of reporting on that as well. So now what we've been hearing from people all throughout this election season is that the economy is top of mind. And that's not really news. The economy is always top of mind. I think where some of the analysis has gone a little bit sideways is that overall, the economy has been pretty good. I mean, any given region or city or neighborhood or family or, frankly, industry can have a really hard time. But we've had robust economic growth overall. What's it like where you've been knocking on doors, and what are people telling you about the economy?
I think there's two things that are really important to talk about. One of them is the reproductive rights conversation is hitting home for a lot of Georgians. You're seeing stories at the door. I'm hearing women talk about how the OBGYN doctor community is fleeing the state. That's something that I didn't realize as a New Yorker, that this is how the policies are getting felt on the ground. We're also seeing how women are splitting the vote in the family. The husband is staying with Trump, and the woman who doesn't want us, mother or daughter in the household is asking us not to say anything about their vote, keeping it almost secret. And then also the fear. There's a lot of fear here in Georgia at the doors with Democratic voters that are asking us to get off their lawn, and they whisper to us, we're voting for Kamala, but just please don't come back.
Very interesting. Now, I put myself in the position of a voter, and I wonder how I would react if some, former city council member from Atlanta knocked on my door. I'm not sure how I would react. What's the out-of-state factor here?
I think it's less out of state. I've only been able to talk a few times about my time in New York as a city council member. What's more important, Errol, is that I'm speaking Spanish. So I'm talking to a lot of Spanish speakers who just didn't know where to go vote. And that one piece of information is activating them. I created a plan with them. I used my Sunset Park style of joking to make sure that they are going to go out and vote. And so that's really more the issue. I think what's more interesting is the suburban lifestyle here is really where people go to get out of that hustle and bustle of the urban lifestyle. So the fact that we're even there sometimes has irritated people. But as you know, in New York, if you're irritated, that means that you're going to go vote. So that's for me a good mark. The Southern folks are saying, we're maybe messing up with their vibes. And I'm thinking, nope, you want them frustrated. And that's what's going to get them out to the polls.
Yeah, when you were elected in 2013 to the city council, you became the state's first Mexican-American elected official. In the final days of the 2024 race, the Trump campaign has received a lot of backlash because of those offensive comments made by and toward and about Latinos, Puerto Ricans in particular, at the Madison Square Garden rally. What was the reaction down there, and actually, how did you feel about it?
He's come for Mexicans early in his tenure. He's now come for Puerto Ricans. This is not the first time. So we feel it. We feel it deeply. The question is that feeling going to get someone out to vote? And I'm going to say no. Those who are out there protesting are already engaged in the system. What we got to do is make the case at the door. What is really going to make them understand through healthcare, Kamala Harris's opportunity agenda for the economy, those are the things that I think are going to really move people. But there's no doubt that Donald Trump needs to just shut up and allow for the new blood of this democracy to take over, and Kamala Harris represents that. And I think that's what we're feeling more here than ever. This idea of solidarity, a kind of coalition that includes the Asian community, the Latino community, the Black community. And I think that's just a stronger message and a stronger hopeful one here in Georgia, where we could be closer to flipping, and this is another important thing, state house races to get Georgia for a majority in the House. That is going to make a big difference for people, and people understand that.
Okay, look, a record turnout from the very first day of early voting, so there's a lot of activity down there. Great to hear from one of our own who's in the middle of that maelstrom. The best of luck. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you, Errol.